This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so this is the organizational meeting, calling it to order at 6:08 p.m. Let's do the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, these are resolutions. We're going to go through this quickly. Do we go round robin and read them, and do I have to so moved it each resolution? Joe?
You can approve them in groups.
So okay,
You can just like go through and summarize each one and then take a vote, one vote at the end.
at the very end of the whole thing, or
What I would recommend you do is you take
because it's resolution, there's the resolutions and then it's the motions. I don't remember this.
Because you haven't done it.
I didn't do it. I did do it
maybe
last year.
once, yeah, it was your first time.
Yeah.
You could do. I'm just trying to figure out.
Well, let's just. I mean, tell me when I get to a point that I can consider them all together. So we'll read them, but it doesn't matter if we read them, take turns as usual. Can we do it that way?
No.
Huh?
No, it doesn't matter if you take them.
All right, so let's just do that.
Sure.
Resolution approving appointments of officers and officials. But
I think you could start at one.
Yeah,
I have to start
turn
at
the
one
page.
and then go back to this at the end, right?
I think this is just like the agenda.
Oh, okay.
And
Got it. Motion to accept the agenda as printed. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor to appoint John Musillo Jr. as deputy mayor for a term of 1 year. So moved.
Second.
No, you can't.
Okay.
You have to recuse yourself.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to appoint Jeremy Flint as trustee for a term of 2 years. Wait, oh, you're right, as for a term of 2 years. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor to appoint, am I reading mayor to appoint? Yeah, I can do it, right? I'm just gonna read it all. Mayor to appoint Jessica Battani as clerk for a term of 1 year. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor to appoint Cindy Schleider as building clerk for a term of 1 year. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor to appoint Joseph W. Prokop, PLLC, as village attorney for a term of 1 year. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor to appoint Kimberly Thayer as village deputy clerk for a term of 1 year. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor to appoint Ronald L. Polito as village treasurer for a term of 1 year. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, that was a good one. That was a nice one, Jacqueline.
Delete that.
Mayor to appoint Small Business Management Solutions as village bookkeeper for a term of 1 year. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to appoint R.S. Abrams as village auditor for a term of 1 year. So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion that the mayor, treasurer, and deputy mayor are authorized to sign checks for the village. So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Do I have to recuse myself from the other one because it's my husband?
Yes.
Mayor to appoint Michael Chiaffi as village building inspector for a term of 1 year. So moved.
Second.
All.
All in favor?
Aye.
Read some more.
Mayor to appoint Tony Bertoloni as deputy.
Bertolotti.
Bertolotti as village building inspector for a term of 1 year. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Mayor to appoint Chris
Chick.
Voorhees as village engineer for a term of 1 year. So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor to appoint Rich Parrish as village environmental engineer for a term of 1 year. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Motion to appoint Edward Schmidt as village historian for a term of 1 year. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Jacqueline, read the next one.
Motion to appoint the following for a term of 1 year. Village Records Access Office, Jessica Battani. Record Access Appeals Office, Joseph W. Prokop Esquire. Acting Justice, Joe Cadams. Continuity Program Manager, Jessica Battani. Village Manager, Jessica Battani. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to appoint the following commissioners for a term of 1 year. Walnut Beach, Eddie Schmidt. Public Works, Michael Chiappi. Van Brunt Manor Beach, Scott Dalton. Signs Lighting, Gary Garofano. Trustees Park, Bonnie Sawyer. California Mayor's Park, Vinnie Castile. Easement to run cable. Communications, Deep Parish. 25A Corridor, Jessica Byrne. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to authorize officers and employees to attend conferences and seminars after prior approval in accordance with the regulations of the New York State Comptroller's Office. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to reappoint John Lane to act as the village liaison at harbor management meetings for a term of 1 year. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to reappoint the following to the Village of Hopewell Zoning Board of Appeals with indicated terms. James Radigan, Chair, expires 2029, Chair for 1 year. John Lane expires 2027. Lee Thompson expires 2030. Jennifer Seal expires 2024. Eric Bosch expires 2025. Karen, I don't know how you pronounce it. Okay, expires 2026. Patty Whitmarsh expires 2028. Ray Graham, alternate, expires 2024. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to reappoint the following to the Village of Hopewell Planning Board. Robert Cronin, Chair, expires 2027. Chair for 1 year. Ted Masters expires 2024. Gary Garofano expires 2025. Lee Thompson expires 2026. Jeff Collison expires 2028. Jessica Warwick expires 2029. Christopher Schleider expires 2030. Kendall Parrish, alternate, expires 2024. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now somebody else can read.
Okay, Jeremy's gonna read. Welcome aboard, Jeremy.
How do I end it?
Just say so moved.
So moved, right?
So moved, yeah.
Motion to name the official depositories for the Village of Hopewell as follows. Dime Bank,
So moved.
so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to designate the following as the official radio stations for the Village of Hopewell. Walk 97.5, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to designate the following official newspapers for legal notices. Village Times Herald, Newsday when necessary, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to reimburse village expense based on the current IRS rate, presently at 62.5 cents per mile, as reimbursement to officers and employees of the village who use their personal automobiles by performing their official duties on behalf of the Village of Hopewell, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to ratify the continued adherence to the following policies. Village of Poquat Code of Ethics. Village of Poquat Computer Repurposing and Decommissioning Policy. Village of Poquat Continuity of Operations Plan. Village of Poquat Credit Card Policy. Village of Poquat Emergency Operations Plan. Village of Poquat Emergency Preparedness Plan. Village of Poquat Employee Handbook. Village of Poquat Fixed Asset Policy and Procedures. Village of Poquat Freedom of Information Law FOIL Policy. Village of Poquat Freedom of Information Law FOIL Procedure. Village of Poquat Fund Balance Policy. Village of Poquat Funding Community Events Policy. Village of Poquat Internet Usage Policy. Village of Poquat Investment Policy. Village of Poquat Parking Policy. Village of Poquat Pay Policy. Village of Poquat Code Enforcement Pay Policy Amendment. Village of Poquat Petty Cash Policy. Village of Poquat Procurement Policy. Village of Poquat Resident Parking Policy. Village of Poquat Rules of Procedure Policy. Village of Poquat Standard Operating Guidelines. Village of Poquat Sexual Harassment Policy. Village of Poquat Travel Policy. Village of Poquat Village Hall Use Policy. Village of Poquat Village Keys Policy. Village of Poquat Violence in the Workplace Policy. Village of Poquat Website Policy. Village of Poquat Coronavirus Action Plan, COVID-19. We still need that. We
I
still
could leave it in place.
Okay. Village of Poquat Firearm Use of Force Training Policy. Village of Poquat Firearm Possession Policy. Oh, we repeated it. Village of Poquat Use of Force Policy. Village of Poquat Open Meetings Policy. Village of Poquat Special Events Policy. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to ratify the continued adherence to any all village policies as adopted. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt Robert's Rule of Order and any all pertinent rules as adopted by the Village of Hopewell Board of Trustees as the official rules and procedures for the Village Board of Trustees meetings. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
John, go.
Motion to continue the established procedures for the setting and notification of a special meeting of the Village of Hopewell Board of Trustees to a 72-hour notification requirement, except in the event of a matter of public safety or emergency, than is required by law. So moved.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to waive the requirement of posting an undertaking by the mayor or trustees.
What does that mean? Motion to waive the
We're on 31.
31.
There's a requirement by law that members of the board have to post an undertaking in order to fill your position. An undertaking is a bond, like a protection bond.
Oh, okay.
And however, you are able as a board with a vote to waive that requirement.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Motion to schedule the Village of Hopewell Board of Trustees meetings as follows to be held at Village Hall. Second Thursday of every month unless noticed otherwise. Work session 6 p.m. Regular session at completion of work session. And Tuesday, August 10th, 2023. Thursday, August 10th, 2023. Thursday, September 7th, 2023. Thursday, October 12th, 2023. Monday, November 6th, 2023. Thursday, December 14th, 2023. Thursday, January 11th, 2024. Monday, February 5th, 2024. Thursday, March 14th, 2024. Thursday, April 11th, 2024. Monday, May 6th, 2024. Thursday, June 13th, 2024. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to schedule the organizational meeting for 2024 to be held at Village Hall to be held on July 11th, 2024. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt all the organizational resolutions above. Motion second, aye. What, oh, is that like, I have to write that in? Or,
No, that's if you wanted to. You can table 34 because that was there in case you wanted to adopt them as a group, which you didn't do. You adopted them individually before you got to 34.
oh, so I screwed it up?
No, you did it the right way.
Oh, okay.
You did it the correct way.
Okay, so motion to table 34. Okay, motion to adjourn the organizational meeting at
6:21.
6:21. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Good job.
All right, that's one.
One
That's
down.
the easy one down. We got one down. All right. Gotta get my notes in order here.
So now,
Okay, so Jeremy, we're gonna start here. This is.
Yep.
I gotta get my notes for a second. Oh, maybe I don't.
so normally we don't have that. That's just once
Once a year
go.
for the annual meeting.
So now we're
Yeah.
going to do the work session where we discuss some topics, and then we'll close that up and then move into the actual board meeting, which is.
Okay.
Zoom version.
I don't have my notes. I had other notes, but I don't know where they are. It's okay. Let me just quick look through here for a second. Yeah, here they are. Okay. Okay. So, motion to call the work session meeting to order at 6:22 p.m. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Do I have to so move when I call it to order too?
Yes, I would.
Okay. I could. I did.
Mhm.
All right. So our first item is property maintenance. So does everybody have a copy of the local law 120 property maintenance proposed revisions? So Dee put this together for us. With her and John collaborated. They worked with Joe and Frank to kind of gather information. It's all based on resident comments, requests over last year or more. Some of them go back a little bit, a little ways back. And they were presented to us to review. Jeremy hasn't had a chance to review it. So if everybody's okay, we can kind of quickly run through it and then give Jeremy some time to absorb it, or do you want to just, is there anything, John, that you want to impart as far as what this is? Because this was kind of your thing.
Yeah, no, I think Tina summarized it fine. I won't bore you with the details. Yeah, Dee and I have spent the last couple of months working with Joe and Frank and getting feedback. Where we should try to hear what's on residents' minds. And a couple things, particularly, we noticed that some of the properties weren't maintained, and we looked at our current law, and there were a lot of things that needed to be added. So that's it. We identified seven.
We identified
seven or eight different
the
areas.
7 things: the garbage, leaves, hay bales, tents, boats and trailers, parking on property, garbage. That's also part of garbage, but garbage timeliness and holiday decorations. So those are all items. I think. I mean, just go ahead.
I had just one. It's requiring boat and trailers to be registered, right?
Yes.
Okay. We're saying recommending professional shrink wrapping or custom covers rather than using tarps, but it doesn't sound like we're requiring. Is that correct?
We are.
I thought.
I think we are requiring that. My understanding was the way that it was presented, that we were looking at it, that we were considering that we would require. We really haven't picked this apart yet.
Okay.
I mean, besides it being circulated to the trustees, I think if we're going to start discussing it, I think it should be required, one or the other. I think we should say no tarps, requiring either professional shrink wrap or custom covers.
Custom cover.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
That's how we discussed it.
Okay.
Yeah. And pop-up tents. Are you just talking let's say people are having friends over for a night and they put up a tent in their backyard? No, you're talking the wedding tent, that type.
No, we're talking a picture people who use them for garages, carports.
Oh, okay.
Or storage. People,
Storage.
Okay.
people are using them as temporary shed.
No,
temporary
now I know what you're
garages,
talking.
temporary
I thought
sheds.
of pop-up tent as.
Well, that I guess any kind of tent.
So if you were having kids sleep out for a night in your yard, that you're not talking about that.
I mean,
if you put a tent up.
I think if you look, from what I remember reading about it, the suggesting the removal of a maximum duration of 10 days, I don't see why we wouldn't apply that to tents across the board.
100%.
Because if you're having a sleepover, you're not going to have a tent.
But not a permit fee to put up a camping tent in your backyard.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't do that.
No.
But if you were having a party in your backyard, because the party companies, it's kind of one of those situations though, because if let's say you have a party in your company and you rent a tent, you could, most of the tent companies come and take it away, and the village requires that people take the tents away from there,
right,
from the village property within, by the end of the weekend or the next business day, right? But if you put a tent in your backyard, you put your own giant tent in your backyard, or you pay somebody to do it,
you still have to have it down by 10 days.
Okay.
100%.
Okay. All right.
We have to specify the definition of a pop-up tent.
Yeah, I think so.
Because she made a good point. If you put a tent, is it going to become a point of contention if you say you put a tent in your backyard for your kids to camp in? Is that considered a pop-up tent? And you leave it there? It's in your backyard. It's not in the front of the property. Is there any difference between the two?
Do you have any insight as far as defining pop-up tents?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with the term pop-up tent. Sorry. So a temporary tent.
Temporary tent.
What I would distinguish between a temporary tent that's used for events or temporary storage, and a tent that's used for habitation, so I wouldn't allow a tent that's used for habitation either.
So it's really a temporary tent of any kind.
Yeah, so, I mean, the kind of tent that Trustee Jeremy mentioned, that is this, you know, your kids sleeping outside. I think that, you know, there's tents like in Washington, D.C., where I go frequently to visit family. I mean, there's people living in tents all over the place, you know, but not staying overnight, you know, because to have a good time in the backyard. I mean, that's just the situation there, unfortunately. So I think I would probably not want that. You know, we probably want to regulate that.
I think it should just be tents overall.
I guess why are we even using the term temporary? Because it could be a permanent tent. It could be, you know, like there are ones I know that people have cars in that are, I guess they are temporary, but they are
umbrella count as a
physically.
tent? No.
No?
Well, why don't we call it, what about a camping tent? Like-
Because they're not a camping tent, because it's also an item used for storage.
No,
There's
I'm saying
different-
the regular, the tents we're talking about where kids sleep over, like we can call that a camping tent, right?
But you wouldn't want a camping tent in your yard for tent. I think they all fall in the same category. They're all temporary tents of any kind. So if we're going to say it can't be a pop-up garage, then it shouldn't. Then I think a somebody putting up a camping tent in their backyard shouldn't be able to be up. Why would somebody put a tent up in their backyard for more than 10
I
days?
agree.
10 days seems like a reasonable amount of
So-
time
so maybe
for
it's the
under
verbiage.
any
But
circumstance.
not
So maybe we
required-
could use the word
not-
tent/carport, because there are like those pop-up carports that we're really talking about. That's initially it started with the pop-up carports, right? That people are using for their. Then we said, okay, let's expand it because it could turn into other things. So, I mean, I'm fine using, you know, the definition of tent/carport.
Okay. I'm okay with that. Can we do that?
Yes.
Okay, so then do that.
Yeah.
Tent. I would still call it temporary tent, carport.
I guess why use the word temporary? Because they could, you know,
Tent
they could
slash, so
permanently
you're saying tent
affix it
slash,
into the ground.
so you're saying the use of regulation of tents, carports.
Sure.
Okay.
But you don't need a permit for the.
For your kids sleeping in the backyard.
Yeah.
That's all you're getting at, yeah.
I mean, it's really, I think we're looking at things that are longer than 10 days. That's going to cause a
No.
problem.
Of course. That's
Yeah.
why I think maybe it should be two separate.
All right.
So I think the question started with pop-up tent. I don't think pop-up tent is necessarily a good term.
Mhm.
Because if you come up with a term, then I'll work with Frank and I'll try to come up with some regulations for you.
Tent and carports.
So if you wanted kids sleeping in the backyard, they could do it like 5 days at a time or something, or 7 days at a time.
I think, I mean, honestly, I think it should be, if we're gonna, I don't think it makes any sense to charge somebody a permit. I guess you could have an exception. Is that what you would do? Have an exception
Yeah,
for
I
kids
think it's-
sleeping in the backyard? It seems like it's maybe we don't do a permit at all and we just give people 10 days and then
And
take
that's
it down and
Yeah.
that's it. And
I
don't
think
do a
so.
permit at all.
I'm not recommending a permit. I don't think a permit's a
I'm
good
fine
idea
with
for
that.
tent.
Yeah, me neither. Whoa.
So,
All right. So,
yeah, I'm fine with
Different
that.
if it's village property, but
all right. So let's take that off. All right. Well, do you want to just kind of quickly run through this? We may as well while we're here. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's chat about it and then we'll talk about it now and then we'll go back. So,
Okay.
John, why don't you lead this because you know more about this.
Sure. All right. The first one, it's the management of garbage, right? So we're talking about management of garbage, debris, and refuge on resident property. So the definition of garbage, refuge, and debris includes discarded objects and materials like tin cans, lumber, furniture, construction materials, and abandoned or inoperable motor vehicles. Requesting the removal of garbage and debris within 45 days, and discussing the location and distance from the street for firewood. So lots of discussions. So as you walk around the village, we noticed that people were leaving garbage around. And the question is, you know, what my garbage is may not be your garbage, right? So we're saying, well, think about it. If you have 50 bricks piled up on the side of your house from a project you did 5 years ago, I think we'd all agree that's garbage. What happens if it's 10 bricks? It's still garbage, right? So that's the question. What's the definition? So I think we all came to the agreement that anything over 45 days after a project's completed is garbage. It shouldn't be out there.
And that's front, your backyard shouldn't be on the
Correct.
property, is what
So,
you're
so
saying.
the issue we
Well,
talked about.
it's kind of up for grabs, because we did talk about,
It was more with the firewood, right? So if someone gets a cord of firewood delivered to their property in August, right, for burning in December, well, how long can you keep it on your driveway, or should it be on the side of your house, in the back of your house, or what's the distance from the street? When is it acceptable and for how long? So that's still what we were.
So, I mean, but for some of the stuff like construction material,
So think of this as anything that's not
But-
permitted, not a construction project.
Sure.
This is property maintenance. So anything that's in a construction project with a permit, they have a different code, or we have a different law for that. So this is other than that. This just maintains your property. So
So
originally it was
are
like
we-
peeling paint and
yeah, no, I understand.
things like that.
But for like some of the materials and things, I understand trash.
it is,
but
it is and
if
it's not, though.
If it's your,
Um,
sorry, go ahead.
It is and it's not, because the
If
thing
it is a
is,
construction project, then it has a permit. and
but
we
I
have
can
all
do
that.
a construction project in my house that does not, that I am legitimately doing some work in my house that doesn't require a permit.
Correct. Then it becomes that's what it says. If it's not a construction, it was a permit, then it's here, and then you got 45 days to
Okay,
deal with it.
but
It
because it's
shouldn't.
not a construction project in and of itself isn't differentiated here. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
Correct.
There is kind of a gray area.
But there is a law when we have a permit, right? When you have to have a permit in maintaining that. So we're just dealing with the stuff that's not under construction project.
But if I am doing a construction project and it just is, and I don't, it doesn't, it's a 2-month construction project that doesn't require a permit. I'm redoing my own. I'm
Patio,
redoing my
pavers,
my
patio.
my
You
pavers.
need a
Floor,
permit
you're
for that.
redoing your wood floors in your
Oh,
house.
okay.
I'm redoing my own wood
It
floors.
shouldn't take more than 45 days. If it is, then
How do
you're
you?
still getting 45 days plus 30 days notice. You're still getting 75
Okay.
days.
I
If you've got a
think-
project
I
that's
think-
not permitted,
I think
that goes
this-
on longer
I
than
think
75
that
days.
I think we're starting to cross. I think we're starting to cross boundaries when we start talking about construction debris. I do. I mean,
But
Joe, am I crossing boundaries with this construction, or does it? Because
We just don't want people's garbage sitting in front of the house for
But
months and
Not
months
so
and
much.
months.
I'm not saying
is there
garbage.
a difference, or is there an ability to work with the definition to the visible area or the street front? Because if you've got something tucked behind your fence or in your backyard and nobody can see it,
That's not an issue.
yeah. But technically under this it would be, because it's not defined as non-visible. Like
no,
if
it is.
somebody-
Well, we haven't gotten. Well, I think we should discuss the location and distance of everything, not just firewood.
Yeah, the firewood's listed there, but I agree if you're doing a construction project and it could take too much for whatever reason, right? Something comes up, you start in winter, somebody, and
Right.
whatever happens. But if your stuff is tucked away neatly, like behind your fence, and it's not visible, then it shouldn't apply to.
So I think
Like that's not what you're concerned about. We're more concerned about people who are leaving things on the visible face of the property,
Correct.
where it becomes
People who have
an eyesore
grass that's more than
essentially
10 inches tall.
Okay.
People who haven't painted their house or that's
Okay.
peeling. And it just
So we can
people parking cars on their grass.
yeah, so we can tweak the definition a little bit for that, for
Sure.
what's like
okay. I
your-
think we just
your
have to.
frontage versus like a stored area that's not visible in the back
So
or side gated
construction
part of the property.
material.
It is common though for people like that get wood delivered, like people do keep it on the side of their house. It's a cord of wood. I don't see how that looks so terrible.
I think that.
If it's stacked neatly, it's
Yeah.
probably fine. But
Yeah, that's
that
what
was
I
the
think
issue.
I think
like,
if I think what you want to say is discarded construction material and lumber.
So take an example, coming down Walnut, that tree fell months ago already, and they chopped it up, and we got wood there, which now can cause termites and rodents and whatnot. It's laying there for months and months and months, right? How long do you let it
Yeah.
go?
That's like
That's
the
a
yellow.
different situation.
Why? It's wood. It's
Because me having it is because if I have construction material, I'm redoing my floor and I have a stack of construction. I have wood and stuff that is being used in my house. 45 days. There's people who I can name 3 families right now who are doing their own work, finishing the renovations of their own homes, and they are only working on the weekends. 45 days is not a long time for people who are doing that.
so then put it inside your house or put it In the
the
backyard.
backyard.
Why does it have to be in front of the house? So
All
everybody
right.
has to see it
So
for
then,
months?
so then I think,
Yeah,
I think we
that's
need to,
fair.
I think we need to hear with construction and lumber, we have to specify that it's discarded this construction and lumber, or we have to create a subset where construction and lumber can be stored. Don't let it be stored in the front at all.
Right.
If that's the case, say that it has to go in the backyard. But I think to treat it as garbage and give people who are working on their own homes only a 45-day window when a lot of people work on weekends only, it's not a lot of time. It's not, I don't know, I'm not in
You
agreement
also,
with
to
that.
rent a dumpster, they're like $600 and you wanna be able to put a lot of stuff in it.
You wanna be able,
I personally,
I think we have
do-
to, I'm down with the garbage, I'm not down with considering construction material and lumber garbage.
How long would you want construction material in front of someone's house while they're working on a project that's not permitted? What would be reasonable for you? I think 45 days notice, and then they got 30 days to remove it. 75 days to me is way more than enough time for that. You guys tell me what you want, what you're comfortable with. You want something to lay on the thing 90 days, 120 days before we do anything?
I don't know.
I think 75 is way too much.
I'm just having a little bit of trouble with the construction aspect. You're right. I mean, I get it.
If you're the person, if you're living across the street and you're looking
And
at
I'm
that
looking
every
at
day.
it. I'm
Yeah,
I'm not
I do
happy
understand
because the
that.
people.
Again, I'm not trying to
All
be
right, so
original.
let's-
Throw it in your house or throw it in your backyard. Just,
Right.
It should
You can put it in the
75
yard.
days, and I keep saying 75
Okay.
because 45 is notice, and then you get 30 days to resolve
Okay,
it.
so why don't we do this? Why don't we just make sure that all of it has a specific location, or
Yes.
that we treat construction and lumber differently? If it's on,
But why? Why should it be any different? Why would you treat lumber or different than garbage? Why would you want to see something more than 75 days in front of someone's house? I don't want to see any of it.
It should be in the back.
Okay, so
Or
in the
inside their
back.
house. They want to keep garbage, keep it in their house.
But are you, okay, but let me ask you a question. Are you letting them keep all this other garbage, the refuse debris, including tin cans,
No.
furniture, abandoned and inoperable motor vehicles? Is that okay in their backyard?
As long as it's not visible, I guess. That's the issue.
Really?
You're gonna get.
Because now the people in the backyard, the people who live behind
So
them,
if someone else sees
So
it,
then
they
it's
complain.
but then so is my construction and lumber.
Yeah, Vinny has.
So I think you have to have, I think what people see from the street is one thing. And in the back, there's, I don't know what they typically do. Joe,
Yeah, Joe,
what's
anybody?
the typical for this kind of property maintenance? Is it front yard, backyard? Do you have any idea?
For construction materials,
No, for garbage,
it
just
can't be on the property.
anywhere.
Yeah,
No,
you
you're
can't,
right.
you can't let people store them.
Okay, so
You
I
can't be
think,
anywhere
I
because people
think
in
it
the
can't be
backyard.
on the property for most of this, but construction material and lumber should be able to be stored in the back.
Right.
For maybe a longer period,
Because there
maybe
are people
60
that'll
days.
put a shed up and they'll put all their crap behind it, and you're looking at all the crap behind your shed, but they're not looking at it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I think
So I think you're right.
the debris, I think garbage shouldn't be allowed front and back, but you could possibly say construction material for an ongoing project can be stored for a period up to, and make that a little bit longer. Make the garbage 30 days and make construction materials 60. I think you have to.
Do you leave the days as is and give people, does it get too complex if you give people an out that if it's going to exceed X amount of days, they have to request and.
Yeah, you know what, leave it all 45 days, have them do everything, but only, have them, everything has to go, but
You know, I
construction.
think that construction materials and supplies to be used in construction should be allowed to be on for 45 days if that's the time period. But construction debris should be removed at least weekly, cleared from the property at least weekly.
Okay,
You can't have somebody just throwing stuff out their front door in a pile for
45
75 days. It's
75
ridiculous. It should be weekly.
Um,
And the carting people don't pick up construction debris.
No.
no.
They don't.
Just
No,
leave
you
it
gotta
there.
get.
Well, I'm not
Take your own
considering, see, I'm not looking at this as in construction debris. Like if I take a 2x4 and just throw it in my front yard, that's one thing. I'm talking about, I have a pile of wood because I'm doing work inside my house and
Cut down wall
the
or
weather
something.
wasn't good or whatever, my plumber couldn't make it. I don't know.
I mean, most of the time you don't want wood out. You know, you don't want construction materials outside. First
Yeah,
of
but
all,
that's what, I'm sorry, excuse me.
No.
There's a difference between materials that are going into the project and when when you cut a foot off a 2x4 and then you just chuck it out the window with the front door.
All right, so
That's
maybe
right.
we just change the thing, construction debris, right?
Good.
Let's just change the title to construction debris.
Yeah.
but then what about construction material?
Well, what are you talking about? Because you just told me that.
I'm saying everything. I don't think
But
it
you
should
just
be
said
that
the wood
long.
goes inside.
Yeah, but I'm saying most people don't have construction materials outside for
Right, so
months
then
on
we're
end.
good. It's just debris that
But
you're
they
worried
could.
about.
I guess if we don't
Well,
cover it, they could.
I don't think we have to worry about that. If they have, if it's construction debris, if they have construction material out there, I guess, I don't know. We have to revisit this. Let's move on to the next one. Let's just put a
All right.
pin in
So
this
what,
and go,
can I make one?
yeah,
Yeah.
Construction material supplies shall be
subject
So
to, yeah.
stored neatly, stored in a neat and organized manner, and
Where?
out of
Not
sight,
visible,
out
right?
of sight as much as possible. And construction debris and waste must be removed from the property at least weekly, not less than weekly.
Clear construction debris weekly, construction lumber,
Supplies and materials.
supplies and
Must be stored
material.
in a neat and organized manner to, out of view from property neighbors as much as possible.
So, and I hate to keep belaboring the point, but you're saying weekly. But usually when you're working, I'm just gonna give you an example. I had to, my deck got demolished because my neighbor's tree fell on it, fine, so we rip up the deck. Now, we ripped up the deck over the course of 6 weeks because it was a lot of work. But we need a dumpster, like we kept putting it in a pile.
But you had to get a permit for that, right? You're building a deck.
No,
No, I didn't rebuild my deck.
No.
I took my deck down, and now I just
she
have a
demoed
permit.
it.
I
She doesn't
demoed
need a
it.
permit to
So
demo.
to be able to get rid of all the stuff weekly, like we were doing it over the course of 6 weeks, and now we have a big pile. Now I'm calling it to get a dumpster. It's hard to get rid of construction stuff. You can't put it out for
No, you gotta
For
get
the
a dumpster.
garbage. So who's gonna order a dumpster weekly? Like
Well, they
for-
come and they clean. Usually
Well, why don't we just keep
I
them,
don't
in that
know.
case, why don't we keep construction debris? Can we just keep construction debris with the rest of the garbage and just give the concession of storing construction and materials in an organized manner? This way
Yeah.
if the debris is there for more than, it just falls in with all the rest of the garbage?
Does
Well, you can do whatever you want, but I don't,
You think it needs to be cleared weekly?
well,
See how that's possible.
put into containers.
does our trash company, they won't pick up construction?
No.
But I know on the regular pickup days, but like they do
Bulk?
have, if you read their site, they not on the bulk, but they do have, if you call in schedule, you have large items that don't fit into the
Right,
into
like
the
furniture,
But not construction.
but
not
not construction
No, so I
regardless,
get it,
even if you
no.
call them separately. Okay.
All right,
and is that really the big issue? Or is it more the
No,
garbage, John?
it's more the garbage.
It's more the garbage. Okay.
All right, so then we talk about leaf cleanup a little bit. So this was an issue, especially in the fall, especially down areas like Washington where the drains get clogged up and it impacts the pond down there. So we had lots of discussion about, if a leaf falls on your property, how do you know it's your leaf? Is it someone else's tree? Going back and forth. But at the end of the day, if it's in front of your property, it's your leaf. So residents should clean up their leaves by December 15th at the end of the season. And the board is exploring existing precedents from other municipalities or HOAs regarding leaf cleanup and enforcement. At the end of the day-
we're looking for, there is no, right? There is no current, so we're looking for an example of some sort in order to encourage people, because
to
I
clean up
think,
their own leaves. If not, we thought we'd clean it up for them and then bill them, or somehow we're talking about taxes, or I don't know. We're getting out there a little bit.
I think we have to see if there's anything that you don't know of anything for the leaf cleanup besides keeping it neat, right?
For the leaf cleanup?
Yeah.
Well, we don't have leaf pickup, right?
No,
Yeah, so then leaves have to be leaves and similar material have to be cleaned up. Should be cleaned up and not left. I would say not bagged and not left on the street.
But you do wind up with people who say that they prefer to have the leaves there for composting purposes and that it prevents.
It's okay if they want it on their lawn. It's just if it was like in front of their, we were worried about like in front of their
Okay,
streets
so you're
and the
saying that it
cleanup and
can't, they can,
drains and things
they
like
can
that.
drag it back onto their lawn but get it off the street?
Yeah, should, well, that's one, you might say, because we have the problem, that it has to be removed from the right of way, required that it's removed from the
That's-
areas of the right of way.
That's a residence, that's a homeowner's responsibility, it's not the
Yeah.
village's if it's on the street.
If
Well,
it's,
because a lot of the homeowners use the right of way as their property. That's, you're right. I mean, it's village property, but the other side, the flip side of it is a lot of residents treat it as their property.
I'm just thinking if you're going through this and somebody has a property and they have leaves falling on, if you have leaves falling in your yard and you have leaves falling in the street, I mean, I can just see a legal contention if leaves then back up the drain and saying, well, it's, I cleaned up my property, it's not my property anymore.
that's the ongoing issue,
battle.
the ongoing battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the ongoing battle. The ongoing battle is that the two sides of this is we have a problem because the leaves, especially on certain roads, because the leaves do clog the drains and then we have flooding issues.
Yeah. So
But-
is it too expensive to have leaf cleanup done?
It is too expensive. We'd have to come up with something where, we pay to have leaves cleaned up, but leaves cleaned up are for people's properties. I mean, that's like a village wide. What are we doing?
No, it's more the
you're
drains.
saying,
Have we looked at like can our drains facilitate like drain filters?
I don't know if they can facilitate drain filters. You can look into that, Jeremy.
Sure.
Welcome to
Purchase
the
on-
board.
Well, I'm saying if we can filter so the leaves aren't going into the
Yeah, but
drains.
then the leaves
we
are
can-
just gonna blob in front.
But then it's just maybe then we can have like a once a week, once every couple week pickup then done. Because the water's still going to run
Through it. Okay, you're on drain
Maybe.
filters. I like it.
I'll take a look at them. I mean, I know they have some new.
Yeah,
Some
that
new
would be
drainage
interesting.
systems.
That's an interesting option.
We can go through this, but this is gonna take an hour. Like,
Yeah,
we
I
do have
know.
time to go through the whole thing.
So let's just quick run through the other items is we're talking about, I'm just gonna brief it for Jeremy and then we can all go back and circle back. So the other one is hay bales in relation to
I've read
construction.
through this if it's.
Oh, you did seen it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've read through it.
All right, so do you have any questions for us, or can we all go back and circle back and then we'll have a little bit more of an
Nothing
in-depth
that I think
discussion?
needs to be addressed right now. We can circle back because we're not like. voting
No,
on
we're
this.
just, we're just starting
Yeah,
to talk
I think
about
it's
it.
preliminary.
Okay.
I don't have any questions right now. We can go back and discuss
All right,
it.
so we really tore up tents and we tore up tents
Once
and
again?
garbage again.
Like the fourth
and
time.
we'll go back to it.
I know.
All right.
It's complicated.
So, the Steve Matthews Preserve, just wanted to give you guys an update. I have been in touch with Nat Grid now, and I've been in, Steve Matthews Preserve where it is, right? It's that whole, so,
Washington and Cedar.
when it was first established, it's the Three Village Community Trust. Is that the right community trust, right? They hold it. It's Nat Grid's. There's like a layer of easements between Three Village Community Trust, Poquat, Nat Grid. Port Jeff has a sliver also. So there's a whole bunch of stuff, and it's
Okay.
just that land.
Okay.
And originally, when Three Village Community Trust started the whole project and began it, they wanted to create some kind of public use, and
Okay.
Poquat said absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of circling back. I don't know about public use per se, but something, because it's just, you just walk by it and it's a bunch of dead trees falling on top of each other. So I'm talking to Nat Grid, and they don't know that there's a public use necessarily, but they do have like Earth Day grant. They have a whole bunch of programs for planting and or just carving it, just beautification. So they were more optimistic about that than any kind of pathway or anything. But I'm going to have a meeting with them sometime in August, hopefully, to discuss what they'll do, because they get they have money towards these things on their properties.
Yeah.
And this would be a nice thing for the community. So stay tuned.
Were you
I'm
thinking
talking.
of like a pathway through there?
Initially, that's what we
Yeah.
talked about.
Initially,
And actually, they cleaned all
But
they
then
cleaned
it
all
would
the
have to be
trees off
public,
the power
right?
lines.
Um,
Everything's public.
Everything's public.
Yeah.
It would be.
It's on
But I
private.
mean, at the entranceway, there wouldn't be parking on the street to get to it.
But
Right.
if it was just, I mean, if it was just like a pathway from where it started, it would be kind of like, you could use it as like a sidewalk to get out of
Correct.
Coquat, basically.
Possibly.
I don't
People
know.
could like walk along it. And,
Maybe. I mean,
Walk
my
stroller or
original
something
thought
like
with
that.
it is because people get really upset about the roads not having curbs
Yeah.
and not having sidewalks, and you're walking with your stroller and you
Yeah.
have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe we could go in and make a figure 8.
Yeah.
But,
Weird enough,
you know,
it was
there's a
one-
lot of, I don't know if Nat Grid's going to go for that because it is like sitting right on their, it's like, I don't know if they're going to want people walking around in there. They were not.
We did like a 6-foot walk, like from one end to the other, and have them fund it.
The one end to the other part of it goes behind houses where people aren't going to want people walking.
On Cedar.
I'll show you a map. I'll email you a map.
Okay.
You'll see how it. You'll
Oh,
see
yeah.
what it looks like.
So
I was
Okay.
thinking about,
Alex's-
about starting it at
like
like
Alex's
Alex's house, yeah, and then running it out to
That would
like, running
be
it out to 25.
but it continues. It goes all the way to the
back.
water.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm going to be speaking to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah,
When-
I do too.
When I hear back from them, we will circle
Okay.
back to this.
Cool.
Okay, so resident requests the water line at Van Brunt Manor Beach. I spoke to Scott Dalton. He's the commissioner at Van Brunt Manor Beach. I gave him the go-ahead to reprice it for us. And I also asked him to look into temporary showers because they have them with tanks that you can put up that people want them just as a rinse station. So he's actually in Europe and said he was going to look into it. So stay tuned on that. We got a resident request to convert Cedar to a one-way street.
Bayview to one way, not Cedar.
Well, it would be,
Bayview, Cedar, right, Bayview to a one-way street.
Right, not Cedar.
yeah, but I mean,
It-
sorry, I don't mean to jump in. I talked to him about it. The issue is that if you do baby, you have to do cedar and chestnut as well.
Unfortunately, I mean, I understand that it's kind of a tricky turn, right? And it is tight, but I did speak to Frank about it, and from what he told me, it's kind of a no-go because I was thinking of it in terms of Walnut, how Chestnut becomes a one-way street. You can only go down that hill.
Yeah.
So I was thinking something of just that little portion that's
Right.
one way. But
Near Deborah's house.
you can't do that here because when people go down Walnut and they can't go up Chestnut, they have ample space to turn around and leave.
Yeah.
Whereas if they drive down
Cedar.
Cedar and they get to Bayview and they're in a one-way street, now they can't even back up and turn around.
Yeah, you're
So-
falling in people's driveways and it gets
Yeah,
messy.
and I mean, Frank made a good point too. There haven't been any accidents. It's not like it's been the Walnut situation is also the pitch because you can't have two cars even try to do that because they're on one car backing up and another car going forward doesn't work on that hill, but it does work on Cedar Bayview because there is no cliff that your car is going to roll off of.
The issue was for children's safety, but the reality, even converting it to one way is not going to reduce the amount of traffic. It's just going to control the traffic in one direction.
But it's not. It's
Yeah.
going to cause problems, and it's also an issue for emergency
Sure,
vehicles.
emergency services.
I think if anything, because I agree, because then it's, but if anything, maybe we can look at that mirror that's there and see if we can find a better indicator. Because you do have to get pretty close to it when you're coming up
To see.
to see. When you're coming Bayview, it's a clear view. it's facing more of a Bayview, in my opinion, than it is Cedar.
Deborah's Mirror?
Yeah, and when you're coming up Cedar, you have to get pretty close to it to be able to see.
But I don't think it was an issue from a safety, from a vehicle standpoint. I think Al brought it up for the safety of the kids. He
No,
brought
it
up
was
the kids,
vehicles
right?
too.
It was vehicles, yeah.
It was
He
both.
said because they have
This whole thing
delivery
he wrote
trucks.
was just about the kids. It wasn't about safety for
It
cars.
was, yeah. When I read it and spoke to him, it was also there's a lot of vehicles that are coming, delivery vehicles and construction vehicles coming both directions, and specifically that he mentioned to me was a lot of delivery vehicles that come fast around those corners and cars coming the other direction and not being able to see each other until they're at a bottleneck point, basically.
Maybe something we can do with controlling
I
the
think-
foliage or the shrubbery.
I think we should look at, right now, we can look at mirrors and we can maybe, I'll talk to Frank and see if maybe we can get some other signs that are before you hit that car. I don't know, what do they call it? Do they call it a blind turn, blind turn?
Blind corner or
Something like
yeah.
that, like just to give people a heads up to slow down.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we can look into some kind of signs to put
I mean,
before you hit.
we do have some signs at the front of the village for when you curve that reduce the speed. I mean, did you put like a speed reduction sign on it? I don't know if it would do any good.
I don't think that would work. I
that's
think just to
all,
give
yeah.
people a heads up that it's gonna get
That it's gonna
tight,
get
maybe,
narrow
I don't
down.
know.
Or
Yeah.
look at the foliage around Deborah's corner. Maybe lower it or so that you have better
Like
visibility.
or like a 1-lane road, like when you come to a
That's a good idea, actually, cutting
one-
down.
Because it is pretty high when you come around, you can't see.
Maybe that would,
It would help.
let's look into the leaves. I'll circle back. I'll take a ride there and take a look and see what's what, on that. Okay, so neighborhood vandalism. So this was post 4th of July. The village got a lot of reports this week. I think it was 5 or 6 total. A resident, the reports were pretty much very consistent that it's a resident. I'm not going to go into details of where, but that there was a resident, had a party, a lot of young kids, and subsequent to that, there's been broken windows, broken mailboxes. The village is missing signs. There was a lot of running amok afterwards.
In their house, broken
alcohol
windows or
cans.
cars?
No, broken windows. They
else's.
broke a window in somebody's.
July 4th?
Yeah.
Yes.
Threw a ball or a rock through someone's window. They emptied out people's garbage, broke beer bottles. There was a lot of multiple reports. Joe, I mean, what do we do in a scenario like this besides alert code? It's after the fact, but the village is missing a sign. I mean, everybody's pointing in this direction, but we don't have
Can't
anything.
prove it.
Do you just?
Was it in the area of the party?
Yeah, it was in the village. It was a village, a resident's house. And we got about 4 or 5, 5 or 6, 5 residents have complained that it was all at the same house.
No, but I thought you were talking about the
But the damage, no, it's all of it. The damage is down on Van Brunt Manor's wall.
It wasn't in the
To
house.
Washington,
It was
on both sides.
it extended. It was in a lot of different places.
Well, I think that the code first, so you're talking about people complaining while the party was going on?
After the fact, because of damages.
They said they called code. Code wasn't on. Nobody left a message.
So after the fact, is it after the fact? Is just ask.
I would write a letter to the people saying that so you want to bring it to their attention that several people reported damage the night of the party, and that you're not gonna, that if they would like to step up and be responsible, you can let them know who the people are, something like that.
But
What if we're the people? Because the village has a sign that's
Then I would send
missing.
a letter to them and say that we.
I think we should definitely
did
let
anybody see, like?
No, but
No,
here's
you
the
can't
thing.
prove it.
You didn't, and it's not so much that, but what if the parents weren't even home and they're not even aware of this? I think even if it's just everybody's saying this, maybe they should know just in case they weren't home and they don't even know
Okay.
this happened.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah, but
So if it's village property, then I would write a letter to the people and say that we, the village, we have village property that was damaged the night of your party, and there's reason, there's reason to believe, if there is, I mean, if there isn't, don't do it, but
Yeah.
if there's reason to believe that, people from the party caused the damage or theft, then I would say that in the letter, and that you expect, the village expects to be compensated, see what they say.
Okay, all right.
I would at least say it.
Is that coming from me or from code? I don't have the reports. I don't care, but I'm just wondering because I don't have the reports came into code. I haven't seen them. I got phone calls on the.
I would say it could be code.
All right.
If you don't want to.
Well, I don't. I mean,
Yeah, I would say it probably could be.
No, I don't mind. I'm just saying, I don't know. Maybe I was going to just I wanted code to speak to them just in case they're not even aware that it happened. What if they were out of town and their kids did this and then now everybody's pointing fingers at them and they're not even aware of it. I think they should, I'd want to know.
But I guess the question is, what's the matter?
Wouldn't you want to know?
Of course.
Yeah, but I would.
But is it in writing? Do you do it in writing, or do you do it? Have code verbally knock on their door, or do you send a letter?
But one way is like family intervention. What's the goal of letting them? I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying I'm just trying to think this through.
I'm trying to give these people the benefit of the doubt that that it wasn't. A lot of residents are very upset, and they feel that this is just complete
It's not the first time.
that this is complete disregard from all of them. But I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe the parents, it's not as bad as their people are making it out to be, and maybe the parents are not aware that it even happened.
I think the parents, if there's no proof, the parents are going to deny it unless we can specifically say this person saw that. They're going to be like, no.
Right, and based upon the
They're gonna
complaints,
deny it.
this is not the first time it's happened. It's
My
a pattern.
recommendation would be that you tell them that the next time that this happens,
It's just gonna be a violation. We're gonna not give any warnings. It would just go right into violations going
and
forward.
we're going to look for compensation for the
But we
damage.
have to prove that it was their people.
Well, okay,
I
but
mean-
I'm not looking for compensation.
No,
I'm trying to
I'm
do something
saying-
courteous to start. But I think
Whoever these people are left, I can't imagine leaving teenagers alone in the house 4th of July. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they are going to, whoever they are, I don't really know.
It's
They're
been an
going to
ongoing
deny it.
problem,
They're going to
they've been
say,
saying.
well, who saw kids from our house doing that? And we're going to say,
No one.
no one.
Okay.
I think,
All right, so let's
you know what I
let's
mean?
let code just give them their report and
Yes.
then
About the
and then
party.
if the scenario happens again, they can start issuing tickets. That this will be the warning.
right.
Okay.
I mean,
Agreed.
I just think that's.
I think that's fair.
Unfortunately, no
I told
proof.
my kids.
Retention pond pricing. Okay, so
We have something?
yeah, hold on. I had so I got two prices. One was for $9,640. This is based on Rich's
Right.
the
This is the
plan
rock,
that
the
he
boulders,
presented.
and the plants.
The plan that he presented to us.
But it's what, boulders and plants? Because there were
Well,
two phases.
here it is. This is what it is. Hedges supplied, installed, clean and grub, replacement of fence, mulch finish, installation of drip hose. So this does not include
All the
the
rocks?
boulders. This is just the fencing. Remember he had talked about doing it
Fencing and the
in
forsythia, right? Or
yeah, the hedges and the fencing and the drip hose irrigation. Okay, so this is a partial, this isn't the rocks.
Yeah.
This is prior. Well, that's what we spoke about doing it. We spoke about breaking it up and doing the rocks, putting the hedges in first and then doing the rocks secondary.
Yeah, you said you can do that. Yeah, you said you can do that.
Well, I think at 9,640, I don't want to really do the whole thing. I don't think that that's wise. I think we should start here and see what it looks like. The other quote that I got was for 15,000. This is 15,000.
What same thing, no boulders?
It was
Just
pretty
the
much
same
for the same thing,
Just-
for the planting and the fences. But I mean, there could be differences in the amount of mulch. There could be difference in the
Yeah,
fence
yeah.
material. But
This is with the gate and everything, like he wanted. Right?
replacement of fence with new component additions of access gate through privet to retention pond on the north. So, mulch finish it base. So, I mean, I think it's easy to say we should go with the cheaper one since it's a pretty
Sure,
$6,000
No,
difference.
definitely.
I agree.
I guess the question is, we don't know how much the rocks are, right? The boulders.
We don't know how much the rocks
And we
are.
also thought it may be, I don't know, I guess Rich thought it was okay to put the plants in first and then the boulders second, where initially we're like, shouldn't we put the boulders in first and then the plants? It's easier,
No,
to
I
mess
think,
them up.
I think, I don't know, I think the plants, I wanna see the plants first. I mean, I like the boulder idea, but I don't want it to be super bulky down there. You know, I don't want it to be like, here's this much bushes and then this much thing, and now the whole thing is just,
So we do the seven, so I'm saying doing the 7190.
no, the whole,
Numbers.
that's one estimate. The other one was verbal, I got it over the phone.
And then this
the
is also,
7190 doesn't add in the fence, so you could do.
No, it's at the bottom,
No,
look.
right here it says 7190 to just do the 4-foot privet hedge to be installed and supplied behind the existing fence line. And then the
The
additional,
fence, I think
and then
is
the
the,
additional 2100 is for the new fence, and then 350 for the drip post. So you could do the 7190 for just putting in the hedges and seeing how it looks,
but
and then deciding if you want to do fence or boulder.
is this
after.
removing
no,
the
the
existing?
boulder, the fence has to go there. We have to have a certain, the fence is kind of necessary because we don't
Okay.
want people to get hurt. The idea
So
was
the
to put,
boulder's not a replacement of the fence. It's an
No,
addition.
it's,
Okay.
the boulder's like an additional aesthetic component, whereas the fence is necessary
Okay,
because we have to have certain safety things down there.
sure.
Does this
So-
include removing the existing fence and brush?
I don't
It
know.
says replacement of fence with new components
It
addition.
usually does.
I would think so, but
Yeah.
I can find out.
The
I would
90,
think so.
the 9640 seems to include a brand new fence.
Yep.
So 2100 for the new fence, 7190 for the hedges,
Right.
and
Where's the removal of these? So
this
is there
replacement
removing,
of new?
I'll find out.
Yeah.
But I'm sure
not
that-
only the fence, but do you have to replace, other plants? I mean, they remove old plants? Because the plants are sort of butted up against the fence right now, right? For the most
This
part?
says clear and grub existing vegetation.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Then that's
Yeah.
good. All right.
I mean, I'm assuming that with the removal, I don't think that they would,
Just add more.
they can't add more, they have to take the other fence
Okay.
away, right? They're not gonna be
Hey,
like,
I've
here,
seen
let's put
stranger things
a
in
fence on
contracts.
top of another fence, so,
That's standard.
yeah, I think,
I'm just saying.
So
I've
it's,
seen-
so
unless
it's
it's in writing.
7190 to leave the existing fence, add new hedges, clear the existing vegetation, and not put a new fence in yet. And then another 2100 to do the fence at the same
And
time.
what kind of fence is it?
but it says installed behind existing fence line. So that's really, that fence is actually going away. I think that it's not behind existing fence, it's against a fit. I think that's just to
Yeah.
indicate
To remove
the
fence.
place,
Yeah,
the
100%.
position, not that the fence stays.
And what kind of fence are they putting in?
The one that we spoke about.
Yep.
Replacement of fence with new components, additions of access gate through privet. And you know what, do you want to get more information on this before we approve it? As far as,
No, I'm just,
I don't know. I kind of assumed it was what
I mean,
Rich had
I
gone
would
over
think he
with
wouldn't
us.
break it out.
I don't remember what
if
he
they
did.
were gonna, like, if
I don't
they would
remember
be
what
all
fence,
together.
what fence he, I know the gate. I remember he showed the picture of the gate. I don't remember what the fence was.
I think he wanted to do a fence that was not super visible. Wasn't that part of the discussion? That he
Yeah.
wanted
Yeah, I
to
would
do
think so, yeah.
a minimal fence?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just to
So it's not an
for
eyesore.
safety,
Right,
but
oh,
then
absolutely.
the planting was supposed to hide the fence.
Correct, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it, I mean, we can table this and we can,
No, it's fine.
I think,
If
I think we
Richard's-
should just do it.
I think
if
we
Richard's
should,
okay.
I think we should at least get started.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll ask them, I'll confirm, let me confirm that the fence is coming out.
Yeah.
And
What type of fence
ask
is putting in?
ask for fence, like some kind of reference, right? Like a reference so we can see what it is. Okay,
Fine.
all right,
And just a suggestion, can you,
yes.
when you do work contracts like this, can I do a simple contract to attach to the proposal, please, just to protect the village?
So you want us to create a contract for the
No,
vendor?
I'll do
You
like
do the contract for the vendor?
For the village. and then their proposal gets attached to it, and they have to sign the contract.
Oh, yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds,
We'll develop like a really simple standard contract, but every time we do something like this, it just gets attached to it.
I think that's lovely. Okay,
If I could interject, I just want to make sure everybody's aware. This was not in this year's budget. So this amount, when it's decided to be paid, it's going to be a transfer out of fund balance.
actually, it's not, Ron. I'm going to use the money from Monsanto.
Ah, well, that's last year's money, so it's in fund balance.
That money from Monsanto went into fund balance?
Well, it flows over. Any excess in a year flows into fund balance, yes.
Right, and what was the Monsanto money? I think it was like, was it?
17,000 change.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we have it there, and Monsanto, when I spoke to them, their intention, they had suggested that we use it. They weren't specific about use. They didn't lock us into anything, but they said that if we use it towards something that has to do with water, which was what the case was, that they would be happy. So I thought this was perfect.
Oh, no, I'm just saying that, making sure that everybody's aware that there is going to be have to be a resolution.
Yeah,
Transfer fund.
okay. All right,
It's a transfer, right? He's right, from one
It's-
budget line to another.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is,
so
but
it's
we got a settlement from Monsanto then, so I figured we could do this with that.
So did you, in your mind, did you just authorize this to start? Did you want to vote on this, or? It kind of sounded like once you get them vetted, that you'll start the work.
Well, we already spoke about it 2-3 meetings ago as far as this work. So I do have a resolution to approve it
To
today,
approve the contract with these people, to approve the proposal.
to approve to approve it. But I can wait till you do a contract if you
No, I'll
want.
do it right away. Just, I would approve it subject to the village attorney doing contract.
Okay. All right. I mean, should I get a vote? Are you guys okay with this? I need to get a
It's
vote.
on the agenda, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, it's on the agenda.
Okay, good.
Oh, okay,
That's
yeah.
what- I just wanna make
I
sure.
didn't just pull it, I just didn't pull it out of somewhere,
Is it good?
Joe.
Good.
Yeah, I think we should get going.
Yeah, I do too, because I mean, all right. Village clerk and building clerk hires. Welcome, Jessica Batani. And Cindy has shifted over to a building clerk position. Yay!
I don't know who had the bigger smile there.
Cindy did.
Yeah.
Wasn't trying to make it too obvious.
Okay, so let's talk about, I gotta see if I'm on the same agenda, because I'm looking at a different one. Insurance rates, okay, so insurance rates, I circulated this to the board. I think we're fine. I put in the expiring time, the last one, we went in 2021, it was 21,000, then we went up about 1,000 to 22,000. Then we jumped higher because we added the extra coverage for the extra vehicle, and there was also changes in law, and that affected our insurance.
And also for the firearm coverage.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it was, the firearm coverage. And that jumped us up to 28,000, and then the following year, 29, and now we're at 30. So we're back on the same trajectory that we were prior. So if everyone's okay with it, I'd like to approve that tonight.
Yeah, great. Sounds reasonable considering
Yeah.
everything else is going up a lot more than that.
All right, let me see your list.
Yeah.
All right. Fiber fill quotes, do you guys have the numbers? Do we know what they are? Or,
One was 15.
One was 1,400 for 15 yards delivered, and the other one was $525 just for delivered, or about 1,000 delivered and installed.
okay, so the lowest one was,
Wait, what-
1,000 wanted
If you
installed.
don't want to install, it was
525.
oh, so why don't we just do that and have Dave do it, right?
sure.
That's
No,
fine.
which,
Wait,
Tell
what is
me-
this for?
So-
the fiber fill,
The playground.
for the trustees park
Okay, the
playground?
rubber mulch like we did down in,
It's
no.
not rubber, it's just
um,
mulching mulch.
wood fiber.
Yeah.
Some sort of wood fiber.
It's what we've always put over here.
Yeah. It'll be new.
and it needs it.
Yeah,
because
there's lots of
There's
weeds.
All of a
nothing
sudden,
there.
I'm interested in the.
Are we gonna put, like-
fire bill.
Are we putting any type of landscaping fabric down so it prevents the weeds, or, because it's really bad?
The one company for the $1,000 delivery did offer weeding as an additional charge.
I would
They
just
didn't
have
expect-
Dave, I would have Dave weed it before they.
It's really bad. I mean, it's not like, Mike and I even tried it. It's beyond like what I think a person can do. I think just some,
So do you think it needs to be a robot?
I think you need to put like fabric, some landscape fabric down. I don't think you can just pick these weeds out. It's a lot.
All right, well, I mean, I can have Dave put landscape fabric down before they come. Are they planning on coming soon? I have to see, have
I
Dave.
just got the,
We-
yeah, I just got the invoice.
All right.
So, you know,
Just repeat the numbers again. So the
So-
sum total,
okay, so one company delivered for 15 yards was $1,400.
okay,
The other company was $525 for the same 15 yards delivered.
okay.
If you wanted it installed, it would be about $1,000.
So then I would just do the install and the delivery and use that company that's about $1,000.
Okay.
And we can have,
Is it worth
Dave.
asking is it worth them asking what they charge to do the weeding first?
I can ask them.
yeah, ask them if they
For a
can,
weed and a fiber mesh underlay?
yeah,
and see what it
and
would
you
be.
can see if they can add that.
Yeah,
It's
it's
still
gonna be just
underneath.
a couple $100 probably, $200, $300, $400.
All right.
The guy that's doing community service.
What? I got
Okay.
the kid doing
Yeah,
community
yeah.
service. I gotta talk to you about that.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to hear the whole story on the community
That's a good
service.
idea.
It's nice that we've got community
Yeah,
service.
that's a good idea.
All right, so that's that's the fiber fill.
Yeah.
So I
Tennis
think
courts.
we'll approve the cheaper one as is, and then we'll talk about the additional, because if they're out of, we can have that done either way.
Okay.
All right.
Before you move on,
Hmm?
maybe this is the right time. How does for Dave? Is he on like a salary retainer? Or is he just paid hourly
He's
based on
paid
the work
hourly.
he does?
Yeah,
Okay.
and he's pretty amazing. He
Yeah.
gashed his leg and wanted to go back to work. He had to get stitches last weekend,
Yeah, which is
working
nice.
for the village. So, okay, tennis court. So here's two things. We have the maintenance quotes that we looked at that I have
I
them
only see
somewhere.
one. I think
There
it's
were
that one.
two.
Yeah.
And didn't you meet with them?
I met with one.
Well, that's just too stinky. Do we have those tennis quotes? The tennis court?
It went to
Never
bid.
received
You didn't get it? All right. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
Because I think Dee told me the one that we got was twice as much as the other one she got. So it was half the price.
Okay. So two tennis court quotes. Hold on. Please open.
And this was what? So one was to fix the cracks
They're both
and then to re-stripe them.
They're both, I think, for the same thing. Of course, this isn't going to open. Okay, so here's the first one. The first one was for total 15,000.
That was the one she said that was half the price. Yeah, the other
Okay.
one was 32,500.
And that's to fix the cracks, pressure wash it, and repaint
Yep.
mostly. Okay,
Yep.
and then the other one was
32,500.
where's the other one? I don't have the other one.
I have the other one. It was 32,500. So.
Okay, so, I mean, I think we're gonna have to do it. At some point, we're gonna have to find, the cracks are gonna get worse. But my thoughts were, for now, we have the pickleball striping that we were considering doing. And then I think what we should do, I don't wanna pay somebody to stripe it and then
Right, then re-stripe.
and then power
again.
wash it and redo it a second time.
Right.
So my thoughts are we could stripe it now because we have a striping machine. The village has a striping machine. Have David stripe it now for this season and get the end of the season done. And then let the winter do its damage. And then next spring, before the next season starts, we actually fix whatever's left. I think that we're already into July. I think let's just stripe it, leave it, and let the winter.
Should restripe the tennis court or add pickleball striping?
But when we restripe it, we'll add both.
Right, one by one.
So long as the pickleball remains popular, which seems to be pretty popular right
Then you
now.
could
But
change
let's
the
see.
paint, because the paint
Yeah.
color right now, the red, the woman I spoke with, she said it's like 2 or 3 times the amount as any other color. There's like 5 normal colors. She says that one's expensive.
So what was the $14,000 one? Was that red or was that green?
She said that the 32,000 was
Red.
no any color but red. There's like 5 or 7 other colors you can choose. She also recommended take down the net for $150 and to put it up during the winter because it creates tension when it freezes on the posts and everything. And for $150, you'll salvage the net for many years to come rather than start a fray.
I think Dave could take down the net for less than $150.
Okay.
But it might be a good idea.
Yeah.
All right. So for right now, I think we should table the tennis court quotes for the time being, and only go as far as pickleball striping.
So if Dave's gonna do some striping, can he do? He can do it in a different color or a lighter color. Do you want
Yeah.
so it distinguishes?
I think it should be. I think he should do a lighter color than.
You'll have people who play tennis complaining.
Right, like if it's red, if it's a red tennis court, the striping can be pink or whatever,
Yeah,
like a
sure.
tone of that,
Yep.
so that it's not as
Blatant.
blatant as the other ones.
I agree.
But I think I'd like to let him do that and then go from there. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay, and then we'll circle back to tennis court in the spring. Okay, PCA barbecue contribution request. Deirdre Cronin has written and asked for the same contribution of 1,500 to pay for tents and dumpster and not to exceed. And I would like everyone's consent on that if possible.
Isn't that when, don't we do it on the basis of it being a joint free? Because we really can't donate.
Well, how does that? We've done it every year. How do we usually do it?
My
For the whole
recollection,
village. It's for the whole village.
my recollection was that we did it
As a co-op?
as a joint party, a joint event. Excuse me, I should say.
Okay.
Because you can't, the village isn't allowed to just make a contribution to an outside.
Yes, let's do a joint event.
Okay.
Done.
Can we make it a joint event, guys?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna make it a
It's the
joint
same
event.
people.
We're good.
Yeah, that's fine. Joint event. I like it.
Done.
All right. What else do we have?
Community garden fencing.
Community garden fencing. Okay, so that's something where Darlene had suggested going around the whole perimeter. Commissioner Bonnie is not down with it. She thinks that, and she's brought up some good points as far as like the height, because once you have that big span, now the deer are gonna jump over it unless it's really high
Has to
and
be at least 8 feet.
yeah, 8 feet. And I'm not sure that we want another
Yeah.
8-foot fence next to the tennis court. It's gonna
Yeah.
look like more like a prison.
Mm.
So she's gonna look into that. I kind of handed that off to her, and she's gonna get back to the village. She's also asked for some funds for Trustees Park. She's gonna speak to Frank, the landscaper, and get some numbers and bring them back to us to be determined. Okay. Open items for the board to review with the village attorney.
So we're now in litigation with the former, with our irrigation system
Nice.
cleaner, whatever the deep pressure.
Right.
And that will, I'll let you know, it's in, the action's in the Supreme Court in the state of New York, which in New York State, basically the Supreme Court is the lowest court in the state. But it's proceeding, it'll be at, if we get to the point where we are assigned to a judge, it'll be in Riverhead. and I'll let you know what happens. We haven't had a response from them yet. I'll let you know when we get a response
Okay,
and what it is. But the case is,
Did we try to settle it though, right?
yeah.
yeah,
And
they
they said no.
some kind of BS. Talk to my lawyer.
Oh, well,
Yeah. I'll talk to the lawyer now.
okay.
The other,
Oh, is it, what's that?
Says it's too lengthy to ask what happened.
And what happened is, they
water
didn't
probably.
winterize the lines, and we had a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And the subsequent sprinkler company who took over made that clear, actually spoke to them, and they kind of said, oh yeah, we did, but, and so we wanted to
They
be
no longer have a
reimbursed.
contract, so
They
have-
wanted to we want to be reimbursed for the extra money we spent because we had to have so much repairs due to the damage from poor winterization.
Okay.
So that's that.
so I just want to mention there's training, the board is required to take 4 hours of training every year, and there are some training opportunities that are available. One is the Suffolk County Village Officials Association, that I think their next training is in October. And if you spend an evening, probably this one will be in Riverhead, but if you spend an evening there, you get dinner. I mean, it costs money to go. I think it's like $65, but you get dinner, nice dinner, and then you can do training.
Is there dancing?
Is it a very, very nice dinner?
Yeah, how nice is the
Yeah, it's
dinner?
actually really good. It's a hotel dinner. It's actually really pretty good dinner. I mean, it's
Does the village pay for that table?
Yeah.
I don't know.
$65. Yeah.
It does?
They have to.
I would like,
Transportation.
if it means
So,
I get a night away from.
Kids.
Okay, so when is it? Do you know? But I mean, in all seriousness, besides dinner, what else do they do? Do they just feed us and
No,
that
the other thing is
counts?
you can network with some other villages. And you get, so typically the training session, they do 2 training sessions, a first training and a second training, and you get choices of which one to go to, and meaning there's 2 or 3 at the same time, and then 2 or 3 second ones.
Oh, I like
And
that.
you can ask questions, and you hear questions that other villages ask, so you kind of like hear things that, first of all, it reassures you because they're asking the same questions that come up with you. And the second thing is that you can talk to, meet other villages.
I
and
like
say,
it.
I
So
like
what
it
day
too.
is it?
It'll be either the second or third week in October. I'm not sure yet. As soon as there's a date, I'll let you know.
Okay, I'll go.
I'll go.
Yeah, you should go. And then the other thing is the New York Conference of Mayors has a training school every year, and they just set the date for this year, or they're starting to advertise it in September. And I know this is a big lift, but it's in Lake Placid for 2 or 3 days, right?
That-
So, but
That-
I don't know if they have a Zoom possibility once you pay the fee. I'll check on, virtual.
What's on that menu for
What's
dinner?
the date? Because we're in Italy.
Yeah, I don't,
Do, it's
I,
like, I think September 10th or something, but it's
what's that involved?
it's basically two days of pretty intense training, like 1 or 2 hour classes, and it's like everything a clerk needs to know, everything a treasurer needs to know, everything you need to know, there's all different classes you can go to.
I would consider a road trip, but I mean, the Riverhead one seems, well, you don't have to go, I might
No, I
go.
need help with the wedding. I don't think you can go.
Oh, okay.
So then-
I'd be interested in both the dates, Joe.
And
The
then
Riverhead one sounds
the
great.
third thing is if we get towards the end of the year.
Now where am I going, Canada?
So
Every time he keeps pushing me further away. The next one, the next one.
These the training's required for the ZBA, the planning board, and also the village board. It's important if we ever get in litigation
That we had.
everybody has a training, right?
So is this something that all the board members of the ZBA and the planning board should also be
Yeah.
attending?
Yes.
So we have to send them an email inviting them
Yes.
Well,
to,
I do send them those,
She always does, yeah.
ZBA,
Recommended.
most ZBA has their 4 hours.
okay.
Is there do you have a list of different events that can be attended, or are these
Sure.
generally
We'll put
can
together a
you,
list.
could you email us a list
Yes.
of different optional
That would be
events?
awesome.
You can also go online. Yes.
Okay.
And if you go to the New York State Department of State website, right? New York State Department of State, they have a section which is local municipal training and local municipal support, and then you go to training, and they actually have webinars that you can view online that are really good.
Okay.
A lot of really for you, it's a lot of really good topics. And then the other one is that's really excellent. I highly recommend, is the New York State, Office of the New York State Comptroller. And they have the same thing. They have really great courses in finance, like municipal finance, and the kind of thing that Ron brought up before about this year's budget, like next year's, all this stuff, that kind of financial questions that you get, managing your reserve or your fund balance. That I'll put together a list for you.
Can I have that list too? Can you make it for everybody? Okay.
No,
It's more of a general us, not just me
I like the
specifically.
financial one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
highly recommend that website if you go on the
New York State Department of State Municipality Training.
municipal training, and then the other one is the New York State Office of the New York State Comptroller.
Okay.
And they have, and I'll send you some of their things that I have. They have some really good literature.
Okay.
And then when we get down to crunch time at the end of the year, when there's like a couple of weeks left, I can do trainings in villages where, if you just come in for an hour and a half on a Saturday morning or something, I can go through. Because I do the Suffolk County Village Officials Training at least once a year, so it's no problem to modify that for the.
That'd be great.
Oh, nice.
And that,
Okay.
would take care of the required
Yeah.
4 hours.
Yeah, because we'll be getting readings.
So instead of sending like everybody out, we can do like a group one for like a group meeting on a Saturday or something.
But I don't think that that's going to cover the whole
Yeah,
thing.
that's more for the stragglers at the end. It's better if you do
Yeah,
these
and
other
there's no
ones.
dinner.
Yeah.
Well, I just meant, I was
Oh,
meant
okay.
like if we went to dinner, anybody else who
Just
couldn't make
the other
dinner,
one, you get something out of the other.
Okay.
anybody else who wasn't able to make dinner could then,
All right. So that's, I
Sorry,
think,
Reese.
are we done with this meeting?
Yeah, the longest meeting ever. We still got the other one.
Well, the other one's going to go quick.
No, I think we're all set.
We're all
Thank you
set.
for your time.
All right, thank you for your
Awesome.
time. All right, so I'm going to adjourn the work session.
7:34.
At
Oh,
7:34.
we cleared, I'm sorry, I apologize. Can I just say?
Yeah.
We finished up a number of cases in court.
Oh, so wait, let me unadjourn. Go ahead.
They were pending. I just want to make, we're pretty much at a clean slate.
I
now.
think you sent us all the little,
Yeah, that was good.
the email. That's pretty
That was
awesome.
good, yeah.
So, which is, refreshing because we haven't had, the court calendar for a long time was sort of like bogged down or cluttered up with these cases that were hanging around. So it's good that we
Yeah.
should be,
We should be good. There's one other one, but I'll talk to you about it. I'll talk to you about it, that other matter. I want to get, let's move on. So I'm adjourning this meeting
7:35.
at 7:35. Okay, does anybody need a break or should we plow forward?
Plow through.
All right, so now I'm going to, where's my other one?
Did the pledge already, so.
Well, do we do the pledge again?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to call the Board of Trustees meeting to order at 7:35 again. Some announcements. 2023 village election yielded the following appointments. 2-year trustee position, John Musillo Jr. and Jeremy Flint. Congratulations. 4-year justice position to Paul Edelson. Congratulations to him. Poquat Community Association will be hosting another outdoor movie night on July 20th at 8:30 p.m. at California Park, as well as the annual Co-Village Barbecue on Saturday, August 5th at 2 p.m. Garden Club and Poquat Pickleball League are both ongoing for the summer months. Please visit the community section of the village website or poquatcommunity.com for more details. The village is accepting applications for summit permit checkers for California parks. Interested applicants can contact Village Hall for more details. Side note, I'm cutting off the applicants at next week because I already have more people than I have, I think. Reports, public safety.
Public safety report of June 1st to July 6th. House checks 204, direct patrols 11, incident reports 21, parking warnings 6, quality of life warnings was 1, special event permits was 19, parking tickets issued 6, field appearance tickets 0.
Okay, thank you. Treasurer's report, Ron?
Yes, as it's early in the year, obviously, and the only things that I look at are things that are big numbers. And I did mention public safety as one of my questions, the wages, but I understand there were 3 pay periods, so it's a non-issue. Um, the big number is the road work, and you know, I always feel uncomfortable when we've used up the budget, unless there's going to be funding from other sources. Because we have a tight budget for the year, I raised the same concern that I mentioned before, that we are probably going to, we had initially budgeted this year to transfer about $13,000 from fund balance to fund the budget as we proposed it and as we accepted it. But now with other things that were not budgeted or may go over budget, unless there's new funding, they would also be coming out of the fund balance. And the number for road work, for maintenance, was 18,000 over what we had budgeted for that line item. And although some of it is drainage, so we did have 10,000 for drains, but that was in there as a capital expense. And as I'm looking at it, I'm wondering, is there an intent to do a capital improvement to some of the village drains?
Not that, not that I know of, but I think, I think we need to, what I want to do is I want to revisit the budget from last year, because we didn't do anything dramatically different. And I think the pothole repair was actually less this year than the year before. So I almost want to take a look at the time frame of these expenses, because I don't know when else during the year.
We only spent 51,000 on pothole repairs this year.
It's
68 or
Yeah, I think I want to get, I hear your concern, but I think I want to see how much we spent for the entire year and when those expenditures were, because as far as I know, Ron, it's always around the same time. It's always, the bulk of it happens with pothole repairs and drain cleaning. And then there's not much else, and there's not much else after that. So I understand that it's a big number right up front as the year opens up, but I believe that's historically the way it's been.
The issue is not so much, pointing fingers or anything. It's just being aware that the difference between what's budgeted and what is spent will come out of fund balance. So that, we're looking at fund balance now, if you've had a look at it, of unassigned fund balance before any adjustments. The end of the year, which is probably going to be around 100,000. Now that, just to look at the picture in a macro approach, our fund balance policy allows us to have that unassigned fund balance to be as low as 15 to 30,000. So at 100,000, again, before any audit adjustments, which I don't know whether they will make any adjustments, but there's a substantial amount of money there that's available for overages, regardless of the timing of anything. So I just am trying to make everybody aware of that.
Mm-hmm. So Ron, let me understand. So we spent 51,000 in potholes this year, and you're saying we budgeted less, or do you have any money like what the budget was the prior year?
I'd have to pull that out.
Can you do that easily, or is that?
Well, no, I'm going to have to. I can do it fairly easily.
We should be over budget for potholes. We should be under budget.
I think we have to look at it because
I don't think we were to cut the budget.
We have to see what the bills.
Well, we did. The budget this year was 45,000.
45.
But that's just for road repairs, or is that drainage too?
No, that's just road repairs. But again, as I mentioned, the drainage of 10,000 would cover the 8,000. But I'm curious, as long as there is no capital expenditure anticipated for drainage, because um, we had it budgeted on a line item as a capital expense. I just want to be sure that it isn't going to be a capital expense or something.
I don't foresee a capital expense right now, but I think we need to go back and relook at that, because I'm not saying that it's not, that the expenses aren't correct, but I just know that historically this is in line. We haven't done anything unusual. So I want to go back and I want to see the expenses that we had, and then I want to go back and take a look at the actual budget that we reviewed.
Okay, well, our budget this year was 45,000. Our budget last year was 40,000, and we spent 60. Now, that being said, we had a lot of things that were very beneficial last year.
Right.
Such as, construction work, mortgage, there were a number of things that the public safety was under budget substantially. So there were a lot of things in addition to the funding that we got, additional funding that we got from different governmental sources that made that kind of a non-issue last year. This year, again, I'm not saying it's a non-issue, but the monies for that excess expenditure between the 45 and the 50 is going to, or 50, I'm just trying to see what the number was.
51,
Yeah, is going to come out of a fund balance. So other things such as, doing anything else unusual, like we've already discussed, those things will be coming out of the, what I'm looking at right now is 100,000 in fund balance after there's a reclass that we're doing. And a comfort level balance would be around 30,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's in accordance with our fund balance policy, 15 actually, but 30 with a comfort level. So
All right.
there's a $70,000 difference there, but just letting you know that as we do different things, that it's coming out and they're not budgeted for. It will come out of that fund balance excess.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm still gonna go get my numbers and take a look at it, and but I think it sounds like we've got enough in the fund balance, and it's not the deficit. The difference with what we spent last year was significantly more than the difference that we have now, and the timing of it. I'm not anticipating any additional street maintenance, because it typically happens at this time of year. I mean, I can't swear on that, but historically, I'm going to go with that. So I think we're going to be okay with that.
That's good. I'm not saying that there is a problem. I just want to make sure everybody's aware of it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Terrific. Is there anything else?
No, those were the two things that I had brought up in my notes or summary that when I sent out the budget actuals.
Mm-hmm.
And that, that's all I really have to say right now. It's very early in the year, too early to really make any other judgments. But aside from that, there's not anything you get to look at.
Okie doke. All right. Thanks, Ron. All right. Court report.
Please, I'm going to sign out now.
Oh, you can sign out. We will miss you.
Yes. Thank you very much.
All right. Bye, Ron. Thank you.
Court reports for the month of June, there were 6 cases opened, 11 cases closed. Net taken in was 1,750. Total to date is 1,750. And I'm going to work on the next court audit.
Okay. All right. Public hearing. Rental law. 1, 2, 3. We are
Jeremy, just, you came to you're coming full circle because you came to our first public hearing on this. And now this is the amended, some amendments. It was already submitted with the STR, and there was just some other nuances, not a lot, that we just edited to tighten it up. So most of these changes are, if you looked at the other ones, you're not gonna see much. It's mostly in the advertising. It's a public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak on this topic? No, well, yeah, motion to close. So now am I motioning? Okay, so motion to open public hearing on rental law at 7:48. Okay, do I so move it? So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so Jeremy, pretend I just said all that stuff again, and I said it again. And now, do we have any callers on the line that would like to speak?
Is there anybody on?
There's one caller. Okay.
Are they always anonymous on the caller, or they have to identify themselves? Or?
I mean, if they want to speak, they have to identify themselves. Otherwise, they can
be anonymous.
do what they want.
Okay.
Okay. So with that, I don't think
anyone here
want to say anything. No. Okay. So motion to close the public hearing at 7:49.
Second.
Oh yeah. All so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next, public comments. All right, public comments.
General public comments.
General public comments. Do I have to close?
Oh, you gotta open the meeting.
Do I have to reopen the meeting again?
Silly, but go ahead.
Okay, so motion to reopen the meeting after the public hearing. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, back to public comment. Anybody? Nothing?
General public comments.
General public comments. Caller, would you like to make a public comment? Okay, so public comments, none. We can go on to our resolutions. Am I missing something? No, I'm good? All right.
Let's go.
All right, Jeremy, get ready. This is where we make you read.
So we all take turns.
We all take turns.
So we go in order. Jim goes first.
So, resolution number 0720223-1. 2023-1. Resolution adopting July 6, 2023 agenda as printed. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This comes out. This is table. No, that's not. Wait a sec, hold on. No, this is table 5. This is table. Okay, go ahead.
All right, resolution 07-2023-2, resolution accepting the monthly reports from July 6, 2023. So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 07-2023-3, resolution adopting the minutes from the June 12th, 2023 work session of the Board of Trustees meeting. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 07-2023-4, resolutions adopting the minutes from the June 12th, 2023 business session of the Board of Trustees meeting. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I just say resolution number 07-2023-5 tabled? Or do I have to read it?
Motion to table.
Motion to table, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 07-2023-6, resolution adopting lead agency status for purposes of SECRA, State Environmental Quality Review Act, with regard to adopting Village Code Local Law Chapter 123, rental regulations, and determining that the adoption of the local law is an unlisted action for purposes of SECRA, that the adoption of the local law will not have a negative impact on the environment, and adopting a negative declaration. So moved.
Second.
All in
Question on
favor?
the motion. I'm sorry, excuse me, question on the motion. I just want to bring up that, if I could, please, that this is, the significance of this resolution is that this gives you the opportunity to consider whether or not there will be any impacts on the environment from the adoption of this local law. So the things that you should consider when you're voting on this or considering it is whether or not there will be an impact. There's the reason why I'm doing this is because I just want to point out two things that you should consider. Whether or not there'll be an impact by the adoption of this local law on noise, traffic, utilities, the level of in addition to traffic, the level of not occupancy, but congestion in the village, impacts of views, impacts on water supply, groundwater, air quality, energy. I didn't say that already. Does anybody think that there'll be an impact on any one of those things by the adoption of this local law? Is there anything you want to discuss?
You mean like it has to be a negative impact though, right?
It'll only help.
Yes.
No negatives.
Okay.
By limiting.
Then I don't have any further comment about this resolution.
Okay.
All right. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Who's next, Jeremy?
Resolution number 07-2022-7.
It should be 2023. 2020 was the year.
Meh. Not a little number snuck in.
Resolution number 07-2023-7. Resolution to adopt local law of 2023, amending chapter 123 rental regulations of the Poplar Village Code. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 07-2023-8, resolution approving the hiring of Jessica Vitani as a building clerk at the rate of $23 per hour, effective June 16th to July 2nd, 2023.
Wait, so moved.
Yes, say so moved.
Say so. She was building clerk first.
Okay.
But see, it has an end period.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then you read the next one, it'll make
Yeah.
more sense.
Okay.
So, say so moved.
so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Resolution 07-2023-8, resolution approving the hiring of Jessica Vitani as a,
That's what you just read.
Nine.
9, but I made a mistake because it doesn't say, it's supposed to say clerk.
That's what I was.
It should say clerk, not
Yeah,
building.
okay,
Number
I
9.
screwed that one up. Okay,
Village, should say village clerk.
Resolution number 07-2023-9, resolution approving the hiring of Jessica Vitani as village clerk at the rate of $25 per hour, effective July 3rd, 2023. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's see if we got Cindy right.
No, it's not right. It should be per hour instead of month.
Oh, per hour.
I'll change it.
Yeah, just
I'm
change
reading
it.
So it doesn't matter. All right, resolution 07-2023-10. Resolution approving the hiring of Cindy Schleider as building clerk at the rate of $25 per hour, effective July 3rd, 2023. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We should have left it per month.
Aye.
Okay, Jeremy, you're up.
Resolution number 07-2023-11. Resolution approving contribution towards tables, chairs, and dumpster to PCA annual August. The joint
Yeah.
PCA annual August 13th barbecue, amount not to exceed $1,500. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 07-2023-12, resolution to approve estimate from Earthworm to service and plant the California retention ponds in the amount of $9,640. Is that comprehensive enough?
Pending, it needs to
We
say,
have the-
Per contract or something.
Is this where you want
Pen-
language?
Should be subject to contract to be provided by village attorney.
Is also subject to John's review of the fence being installed, or is that?
no, I'm gonna look, I'm just gonna make sure that they're taking it down.
Got it.
Subject to contract being prepared by
Village attorney.
Yeah,
village attorney.
so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 07-2023-12, resolution to approve, oh, I never even did the building fees. We're gonna table this because I'm too tired. No. A motion to table this resolution. So moved.
Second. No, you can't.
So-
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Resolution 07-2023-13. Resolution approving insurance renewal with Salerno Brokerage Corp. in the amount of $30,740.08, effective July 1st, 2023 through July 1st, 2024, and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Resolution number 07-2023-14, resolution to schedule the Village of Hopewell Board of Trustees work session meeting beginning at 6 p.m. on August 10th, 2023, with the business meeting to follow immediately. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Now we'll do the vouchers.
Now,
Jessica or Cindy in.
oh,
Aw.
Cindy's last time. Da-na-na-na, the vouchers. You go.
$992.89. 2 unpaid bills to Hurricane Tree Experts totaling $2,500. 2 unpaid bills, Suffolk County Water Authority, $556.46. Suffolk County Water Authority, $52.28. Do you have a question?
Sorry, I know you said the 2 bills for Hurricane. One was $800, right? For the one on Sharon. These are not those, I guess.
No, I think these, I'd have to look up. I
This is
think
gonna-
this was the one on that first one. Oh, no, this was the
The
one
one that
on
fell.
Birchwood.
This is the one that fell on Birchwood.
Okay.
And, yeah, that one we just paid, so it's gonna be in the next,
All right, so there were 2 bills for this
or it
one.
might come up later, you know what I mean, the way it works.
All right, so they sent us 2 bills for this one here, for 2,500.
Yeah, it's later on.
Okay. Sorry.
It's okay. I don't know what I was up to.
You're on the Suffolk County Water in the second one.
Total was $608.74. 2 unpaid bills, Cannon Financial, $129. Royal Pavement Solutions, $50,225, for a total of $50,354.
They did a great job.
11 unpaid bills. Eastern Environmental, $8,275. Paul Edelson, $250. Hurricane Tree Experts for the tree at Sharon, $800. Jeff Coppelson, $138. Deborah Pappas, $138. Kendall Parrish, $138. Linda Sharon, $138. Staples, $95.55. Suffolk County Water Authority, $57.63. Verizon Wireless, $100.64. Winter Brothers, $10,788, for a total of $20,918.82. And that's it.
That's it. Want to do the last one, Tina?
Yep. Motion.
No, the
Wait.
resolution.
Resolution 07-2023-15, resolution approving all checks per the voucher report. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Motion to adjourn at 8:01 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Amen. All right. 2 hours.
Thank you, callers.
Damn.